Hello YouTube, this is Baylor Mage again, and today we've gathered every single question that we get multiple times, put them all into one little document, and I'm going to go through it with you. We're also going to link the document in the description, which is subject to change. We will add more questions as more questions happen. If you have questions that aren't covered in this, that weren't already in the guide and also aren't in the FAQ, please absolutely leave them in the comments. We get enough people asking the same question, they'll end up in the document. So that being said, let's see if we can make this a bit better for everyone. Quick warning, when we go full screen mode here, it is a white document. You're about to get flashbanged. I apologize. All right, so here we are with a Poison Holy Relic FAQ document. We've got on the left hand side here outlines all of the questions, links you can click through to get to your specific questions, but we'll go through some of them. Well, we'll go through all of them right now. Some things covered. So what items do we need to get started? I don't know why we're still getting these. They're in the build guide, but we're going to go with the Joffrey's Crest. We really do want 3 of them. Any decent attack speed sword with minion damage and a suffix for trigger, as well as the 2 gems. If you're starting this as a secondary character, I would absolutely be getting a Darkness Enthroned and starting with that as well, with like 2 15% poison chance jewels in them, because 2 of them in a Darkness Enthroned is already going to be somewhere above 50-60% if you had a 100, but pretty decent amount of poison chance right off the bat. This should also be one of your earliest upgrades once you start, is getting jewels, getting poison chance up. Okay, that is all covered in the written guide, but we got that question way too many times to not answer it. Why this specific base? I've been suggesting specific bases, whalebone and one other. People keep asking why. The specific base itself wasn't really the deal. The specific base was because it was a low dex requirement, 1.6 attack speed sword. The reason we want a 1.6 attack speed sword is because you can roll attack speed on it and get it up to as high as 2. You can go to 2.0 pretty easily. Now, you might not get 2.0, but the faster we attack, the snappier the build feels. It's just, it won't be reflected in path of building, but it will be reflected in your gameplay. If you feel sluggish, if you feel slow, all of it's about the weapon. The faster that weapon is at base, the better, which is why we go with the 1.6 attack speed bases. They're the fastest bases that exist. So that's just it. It's just about feeling. The one thing it does benefit is the faster we attack, the more life gain on hit we get. And that's pretty relevant. But other than that, it's just about feeling snappy. What content can we do? That's the next question. Well, it turns out we can do everything. The only thing it's not fantastic at is Sanctum. It's still doable. I'd rather play one of the Sanctum specific builds for that, so I would avoid it. Up until today, I would also have said to avoid Ritual, because Ritual is really, really, really dangerous. But Ritual got a nerf today, and it's now good, and you can now run it. So we can do any content we want. You do whatever it is you want to do. That's the go. It's now capable of doing everything. I keep getting questions about poison chance and how to find it. We're not going to go over that in the video. Click on the document. There's some step-by-step instructions on how to import your own build to Path of Building and find it. In Path of Building is the only place you will be able to find it. It is not reflected in game. You'll have to import your own build. But there's some step-by-step instructions and some screenshots of where to look. Whew. People keep saying, how do we get 100% poison chance? That's pretty simple. It is literally all the cluster jewels. Chance to poison on your, not cluster jewels, on your ghastly eye jewels. All of it. A really, really large source of it will be the 2 in your belt. The 2 that you have with the highest poison chance, preferably 15%, should be in your darkness belt with the highest amount of like percent increased effect. Here is a table that shows you how much poison chance you'll actually get per what kind of belt you've got. So for instance, if you've got 15% poison chance jewels, obviously in a 100% belt, they're worth 30. In a 94% belt, they're worth 29. So if you have a 93, that means you go all the way back to here. They go to 28. They always round down, right? So 94 is the breakpoint for them, and then it goes down to 87. Different breakpoints if you've got a 14% poison chance jewel. So you can use this graph to figure out exactly what you need. Help you get the best bang for your buck there. All right, moving on. Why is my DPS in Path of Building so low? Yep. Path of Building's got no idea what's going on. It doesn't understand anything. We're guessing at our damage numbers. The answer is enough, especially once you get into Dialas. It skyrockets, but no idea. All right. We have the build setup laid out again in this FAQ. It's laid out in a little bit of a different way. We don't need to go through this here, but it'll all be in this document. The one thing that I'm going to point out here is I keep getting asked what to link in Dialas when you have it. So we have a clip here, which is me explaining it. You can click that if you're at the point with Dialas and you're trying to figure out what color should be what gem. But otherwise, all of the common setups are all listed here. You'll have to figure out which one is for you. Which gem do I drop if I've only got a 5-link Dialas? It's minion damage. Get rid of minion damage. Minion damage is the loser. Sorry, minion damage. Bye. Big question. Is determination worth it after the nerf? The answer is I don't know. The person who was helping me write this up, Lupus, also thinks determination is worth it and has about 20,000 armor themselves. I also have about 20,000 armor, so I think it's worth it. We're both open to other options though. If somebody shows us a way to get some physical mitigation, so a way to like give up that determination, I'm not attached to it anymore. I just can't find a better solution. So for now, I'm sticking with determination, but we'll see if that changes. Which movement skill should I use? Gets asked a lot. The answer is it doesn't matter. Shield Charge, Whirling Blades, and Leap Slam all work. Frost Blink and Flame Dash both work. The only thing I would say here is Whirling Blades doesn't feel great while you have a slow attack speed. I much prefer it once I get up to about a 1.8 attack speed weapon. I'd rather Whirling Blades. Shield Charge feels good even when you've got a slow weapon. So if you're stuck really early, stick with Shield Charge. But either Leap Slam or Whirling Blades, up to you. When you go faster, feels better. How come my movement feels stuttery or clunky? It's just the attack without moving option. I'm gonna put that on. Okay, Spectres are big. What Spectres do we use? So we've got some list of Spectres here that are the good ones, explaining what they do. However, the big question I'm getting right now is, these are all expensive. Are there any cheaper options? Yep, there are some cheaper options. There are 2 cheaper options. The price of these, if it goes over 10 chaos, we're not going to buy them. I want to be very clear about it. These are budget Spectres. They're worth having, but they're only slightly better than having Pale Sephrim and Arena Master. Okay, so if the price of these goes over 10C, we're just going to stop buying them, and we're going to use Pale Sephrim and Arena Master. They're the old Spectres. When you're first starting leveling through the campaign, you have like 0 chaos linearly. You can just grab Carnage Chieftains, get Frenzy Charges. But the 2 budget Spectres that I'm currently using are Perfect Forest Warrior and Perfect Pain Artist. So the Pain Artist just casts Zealotry. I think it's 11% more spell damage. We are like half hit, half poison. So the half that's hit benefits from Zealotry, ends up giving us 5 to 6% more damage total. It's fine. It's not special, but it's practically free. As of recording this video, it's a 5C corpse, so that's fine. We'll use it. The other one, Perfect Forest Warrior, grants nearby allies onslaught and has Culling Strike. Now, eventually we're going to get Culling Strike from a Kingmaker anyway, so the Culling Strike part isn't important. But a permanent onslaught, even on single target tanky things where you don't have flash charges, really useful. I really quite like that. So those are the two I'm using. Then I get asked, how do we summon these corpses? Okay, real important, real important. Take out Bone Offering from your trigger weapon. You can offering up your corpses. If you don't, and you will lose them and have to buy another one. Then you just right click the corpse in your inventory and it'll appear on the ground like it was a monster you killed, just in your hideout, and you can just raise Spectre it. Super easy. What do I do if my Spectres die? They're gone. They're gone forever. If they die, they're gone. You got to buy a new one. If they get unsummoned by changing gear or taking the gem link out and you're in your hideout, they will drop on the floor. So you can change gear, but again, take out Bone Offering. Take out Bone Offering, then take out the gem in your hideout. They'll drop on the floor. You can never turn them back into an item, but you can res them again when you're done regearing or changing or whatever, right? Right. Next, which items go on the Animate Guardian that we've affectionately called Bob? I'm not going to go through these in the video, but there's a bunch of different options here, including budgets. So have a look at them. They're mostly the same ones that are in the path of building, but there are some alternative options in case things get expensive, as well as an explanation of how to actually assemble your Animate Guardian, if anybody wants that. All right, big one. How do I keep my Animate Guardian and also my Holy Relics alive? Holy Relics have been dying. So a few options, a few things that you need to do altogether. One, Minion Defense Mastery for minions leech 1% of damage as life. Very helpful. Bone Barrier is your ascendancy point. Should help if you're not Uber Labbed yet and you don't have Bone Barrier. That'll help a lot. The third thing, and something that I hadn't planned on before, I gave up a third Spectre and instead I anointed Decay Ward, which gives us a little bit of block and spell block for our minions. But more importantly, minions recover 2% of life on block. It's a very cheap anoint. But I was having problems with things dying. So with that, things stopped dying. I think I've lost a Spectre since then one time. Never an Animate Guardian. And it is incredibly hard to kill my Holy Relics now. So that's great. As far as what pantheons do we use? Brine King, mandatory for Can't Be Frozen. I tend to go for Soul of Aberrath for the immune to burning round and less duration, but you can change that whenever you want. I asked, are we ailment immune? There's a whole write-up here about how we are ailment immune and what exactly we are ailment immune to, but we are not technically ailment immune, but we are. We can ignore ailments at least once Brine King is updated. Technically we're not, but we are. Right, too many people asking, why do we take Mind Over Matter? The answer is we don't. We take Mind Over Matter because there's a Timeless Jewel in. There's an Elegant Hubris, changing it to Supreme Ostentation, which is a ignore all attribute requirement, gain no inherent bonus from attributes. All the versions of Path of Building that have Mind Over Matter taken for this build have it because of that. They have that there. Right, how do I sustain mana? I'm having trouble. So a few things that you can do. One, the minus mana crafts, they do help a lot. But two, the most important thing, getting a jewel with gain 2 mana per enemy hit with attacks and putting it in your tree will absolutely fix some mana problems. That will make you feel way better about mana. Okay, which map mods should I avoid? There are none. Realistically, players cannot regenerate life mana or energy shield is a little annoying before you get your jewel. If you get the jewel that gives you the +2 mana, then you can run that as well. Map mod immune. Ta-da! Run everything. Fantastic. There's an entire section here about Abyss jewels and how to craft them. I'm not going to go over this whole thing in the video. There's a section here in the document. Have a look over it if you need to craft your own jewels. They are prohibitively expensive for some reason, especially considering how goddamn easy they are to make your own. So make your own. Whew. Which item should I upgrade first? The answer is you buy what you can when you can afford it. So we've got the list of like the first group of things that you should be working on, but the answer is they're not in any particular list. They are just in whatever the market's doing at the time. Whatever you can afford to do is what you should do. The one exception to this is that the number one priority is to get your poison chance up to 100%. That's the only goal. Get the poison chance up to 100%, then upgrade everything else. Everything on that list is of importance. Whatever's cheapest, do it. Whew. Which amulet should I use? The amulets are too expensive. Is there a cheaper option? The answer is both amulets are essentially the same. They're also exceptionally expensive. So what to use for now? I'm literally just using a Jinxed Juju. They are very, very budget, very, very easy. Give you a good amount of chaos res, give you increased effect to auras, give you 10% of your damage that you take, taken from your specters instead of you, makes you more tanky. You could also go for a rare +1 all, and that would be fine as well. Whew. And what do we use for shield options? If we don't go with Aegis Aurora or Surrender, because they're both quite expensive, any Shaper Influence shield with Recover Life on block will go really, really well. And that's defensively. And offensively, you could just get something that had a little bit of minion damage and some life on it. As soon as I start to feel squishy, I will replace this with life gain on block. To be honest, I haven't needed it yet. So that's it. That's all the things in the FAQ. There are links all over it. I hope that's been helpful. Again, if you have more questions that are not covered in either the build guide or the FAQ, please leave them in the description of the video. That is all, and I will see everybody next time. Goodbye.